And it suddenly got very quiet in here. That's because they're all looking at the timer, Catherine. Yep.
All right. Good morning, commissioners. We are now live and over to you, Chair Harrington, for the call to order.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May 16th, 2023 Washington County Board of Commissioners meeting. And I just a little bit because I got that announcement wrong at our work session meeting this morning. So, Clerk Moss, could you do us the honors, please?
Thank you, Chair Harrington. The Washington County Board of Commissioners, also meeting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services and all other county service districts, is now meeting this regular session, May 16th, 2023. Commissioner Fye?
Present.
Commissioner Treese?
Here.
Commissioner Willie?
Here.
Vice Chair Rogers?
Here.
Chair Harrington?
Here. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by announcing a few agenda updates as compared to when the agenda was first published. Item D3, a third proclamation was added. Item F1 was just updated. We will continue to have that first public hearing, but we're going to delay action on that until later in June, and the form of it will change as well, so that, or has changed, so that we have an extended time period for community members to take advantage of finance programs. And then item F2, the presentation was added. We will be, through the course of multiple proclamations, as well as with action item G1, we would like to memorialize the special occasions that these items represent, and will be convening down on the floor for some picture taking. So thank you for those of you who are here to partake in that, but also thank you to the rest of you for your patience while we go through those logistics. All righty then. The next item on the agenda is public communication. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to address us?
I did not see anyone sign up in the back of the room coming in. Would anyone viewing this meeting in the room like to provide public comment for up to 2 minutes on any county-related topic? Give you just a moment to raise your hand or come forward. Okay. We do have one member online, Carlos Romano. Carlos, can you hear us? Can you unmute, Carlos? There you go.
Good morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead for up to 2 minutes.
I'm not able to hear you, but thank you for taking my call. Commissioner Harrington, would you like me to speak?
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, Commissioner Harrington, as well as Commissioner Fye and other commissioners. Thank you for taking my comments. I'm a resident and represent the Residents for Improvement and Safety of Miller Hill Road. Commissioner Fye is very informed on the situation that we have here. And one of the reasons the residents got together is because of the concerns we have both for the safety and improvement of Miller Hill Road. I hope that all of you have had a chance to read the letter that we left for all of you. I left it there with Kevin, if I remember correctly. But our main concern is the increased traffic, and especially the traffic that's been generated by so many people, even coming from Newburgh, we understand, as well as, of course, the school down at Hazeldale. There's, in my view, even though we haven't looked at it, that people don't keep to the 25 mile per hour, they speed a whole lot. If Commissioner Fye has seen firsthand, I'm sure, that there's incomplete sidewalks, there's children, parents, pets, bikes. At one time, there's even a horse that's going up and down the Miller Hill Road as such. I understand, according to my communication with the representatives from the Land and Transportation Use in the county, is that they only required to put a 25-mile-per-hour signage at the bottom and the top of Miller Hill, of which there is, and then delineators, and luckily they've replaced the old ones, so we have that as well. In my letter, in our letter, which was signed by 50 individuals here in and around the Miller Hill Road, the ones that use it a lot, we find that they did a sheriff office survey, and they surveyed 5,664 vehicles, and they found that about 97 or so down at this school area were speeding to the tune of 36 miles per hour. So our main concern here is both safety and daily use of it. As you might know, there's two developments. One
thank you,
already is
Mr. Rama.
built. One has already been built. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We have indeed received your communication, both through the letter you dropped off, but also it was distributed to the board in our weekly constituent report. So thank you very much. We're aware of the situation. Our Land Use and Transportation Department continues to support your urban unincorporated neighborhood, as they do with all urban unincorporated neighborhoods, to try to practice the art of the possible within our restricted resources. So thank you very much.
Would anyone else viewing this meeting online via Zoom wish to provide comment for up to 2 minutes on any county-related topic? Give you just another moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any additional hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. Next, we'll move to today's consent agenda. Today's consent agenda consists of 19 different items. We have 2 items under minutes, 5 items from Clean Water Services, 1 item from the Office of Community Development, 1 from County Council, 1 from Human Resources, 3 from Support Services, and 6 from Land Use and Transportation. And it's not unusual for this time of year for us to have a rather lengthy consent agenda due to the nature of our fiscal year business and final contracts and adjusting contracts before the end of the fiscal year. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt today's consent agenda. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. And next, it brings us to our proclamations of the day. We have 3 of them. And our first one is to proclaim May 21st through the 27th. Wow, May is flying by. As National Public Works Week in Washington County. So I would like to invite Stephen Roberts, our Director of Land Use and Transportation, and Logan Olds, our Interim Managing Director of Utility Operations from Clean Water Services, up to speak to the importance of our public works work happening here in Washington County from our 2 different agencies, your local county government of Washington County and our Washington County-wide water resource recovery utility Clean Water Services. Gentlemen, please.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. Thank you. I'm Stephen Roberts, Land Use and Transportation Director. And I'm here today, as you mentioned, with Logan Olds from Clean Water Services, our partners down the street. And I've also got Chris Lundberg. Chris is one of our communications staff members, works with our operations division primarily. And we're here to just walk through a few things with you here today about this proclamation. Logan?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Logan Olds, Clean Water Services Interim Managing Director, Utility Operations.
And good morning, I'm Chris Lewinberg. I'm a communications specialist with Land Use and Transportation Operations and Maintenance Division.
Sorry about that. So I do want to just acknowledge the valuable work that our Public Works team members do. We do have just a few of our senior staff members here with us today that do that work. But I really want to give a shout out to all of our dedicated staff with the LUT who are working around the county on the design, construction, and maintenance of our public works infrastructure. Primarily roads is our primary work here at the county. And then, of course, they also help protect our water through a variety of measures that they take when they're doing that work, and then preparing us for emergencies. They are what make our communities great places to live and work. And then Logan's going to tell us a little bit more about National Public Works Week.
Good morning. There's a vast web of public infrastructure that stretches across continents, through oceans, and even into space. Our public works shape each moment of our lives. Public works are the roads we travel, the myriad of pipes, reservoirs, satellites, and transmission lines that carry the necessities of life to and from our communities. By building and maintaining our public works, our teams ensure the life, health, and safety of our communities. Although our efforts are often unseen and can be taken for granted, each of us, our families, our communities, our nation, and the planet benefit daily from those efforts. As a 30-plus member of the public works field, what stands out most are the individuals who make up our ranks. From all walks of life, brought together to serve our communities, to collaborate, to create teams that are capable of doing more than any one individual. It is with duty and pride that we serve, and we thank you for this recognition of our service during National Public Works Week.
Thank you. And if we're ready, Chris is actually going to read the proclamation. All right.
Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Washington County. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, employees at all levels of government, and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our community. And whereas it is in the public interest for community members, civic leaders, and children in Washington County to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work that they perform. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on this 16th day of May 2023, the Washington County Board of Commissioners, also acting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services, does hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through 27th, 2023, as National Public Works Week in Washington County. And we call upon all community members and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions that public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. And I'd also just like to take the opportunity to invite the public and you all to the Washington County Public Works Fair this Saturday, May 20th. It's going to be located at the Beaverton Farmers Market, and this is our annual opportunity to kick off Public Works Week. We hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you for that invitation. Appreciate it. And I'm sure there's more information via the Washington County website and social media postings. Commissioners, are there any comments or motion to? Motion and second has been made to adopt this proclamation for National Public Works Week, May 21 through 27, Connecting the World Through Public Works. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. And I would like to invite the Commissioners and our staff for some picture taking.
Thank you.
In a way, I wish I had little signs that have roads and bridges and buildings. Come on, don't be shy.
We'll funnel in.
Oh, we'll go over there. You're going to stand here. Okay, come on. Show your hands in the back. We do this work together each and every day, so I thank our employees for bringing these opportunities forward for us, but also bringing these proclamations to life. And we have another one, this one with regard to National Emergency Medical Services Week for May 2021 through 2027. And we have a cast of at least 4 individuals. And to start us off will be Mira Samantel, the Director of Health and Human Services, and she will help introduce our guests. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Harrington. I'm going to just do a brief introduction and then step back. That's why I'm not sitting right now. So good morning, Mira Samantel. I use she, her pronouns, Director of Health and Human Services. We are so pleased to be here this morning for proclamation for National Emergency Medical Services Week, Emergency Management Week. So I have with me Adrienne Donner, who is going to actually introduce our presenters. And they have a brief presentation prepared, and then we'll be able to do the photo op at the end. So there you go, Adrienne.
Thank you. Nice to see you all. I will do a quick introduction. I'm Adrienne Donner. I'm the program supervisor for the Emergency Medical Services program in Washington County. Jack Nuttall is one of our senior program coordinators for the program, and Chief Downey is the fire chief for the city of Hillsboro, who will be reading our proclamation today. There we go. So today we're going to do a quick thank you. We're going to really focus on heart. So for EMS, we could talk about a lot of different things, but it really is about heart. So we took that as our theme for today to teach a little bit about how we do in our cardiac arrest responses, as well as how we do in our training and outreach programs. And then we'll read the proclamation. I want to just do a really fast shout out to all of the EMS partners in Washington County. We have a very active EMS alliance, which brings all of them together every month to look at the things that are going well, to look at the things that are not going well, to look at data and be creative with new projects and new ways to move our system forward for the people who live in Washington County or who visit Washington County. I won't go by name, but just a large shout out to all of our partners. I'm going to pass to Jack for his piece of the presentation.
Great, thank you, Adrienne. Jack Nuttall, Washington County Public Health Senior Program Coordinator. So thank you for having us come out here and talk to you a little bit about EMS and what we do in EMS. I'm going to talk mostly about cardiac arrest, because cardiac arrest represents one of the most life-threatening conditions that people can face out there in the world. It's the end point of the continuum of cardiac disease. It's the point where the heart can no longer supply the brain, particularly with blood, or indeed the heart. So the body collapses, and it's fatal unless advanced treatment is given rapidly. Can I just start by saying Washington County is among the best places in the United States and in the whole world to have the worst day of your life. It's we have a 30% of people that arrive that call EMS without a pulse arrive at the hospital with a pulse. So that's a third of people have their heart rate restored by the time they get to the hospital. Of that third, about 50% walk out of that hospital and go on to resume a normal life with their family and life in the community. So that's a fantastic result, and we should all be very, very proud of it, and we thank our partners for that. So how do we achieve this? Well, we do it with comprehensive training, applying the latest techniques, with motivated trainers, through the dedication of our crews who come from the community and really want to give back to it and value what they do. We augment that with clinical quality improvement. We have a robust QI program where we look at past cases and review them and kind of apply those lessons learned to the future. We build partnerships along this whole chain of survival from the dispatchers who call who respond to the people who are having the emergency and who coach them through CPR and things like that, right through to the EMS providers and the doctors at the hospital. We have doctors in our QI meetings, so there's a continuous quality improvement loop that feeds back into the system. And along with that, we're a highly cardiac aware community. We have a lot of cardiac literacy. People know what to do when somebody has a cardiac arrest. They usually know CPR, and they're willing to respond to the dispatchers, coaching them through that. So we jump to the next slide by pressing that one. All right, so that's what we do to save lives today. And it's also tremendously important to look at saving lives tomorrow, to make sure that we meet the expectations of the community in the future, to apply the most cutting-edge technology to ensure that everyone who can be saved is saved. And we do that through innovation and research. We're part of national database organizations that monitor cardiac arrest and feed into the latest research. There's the CARES registry, which is a national registry that does that. We work with OHSU, previously the Resuscitation Outcome Consortium, now OHSU's Epistry database. That data that we feed in there gets pulled out and crafted into cutting-edge peer-reviewed journal entries that go into such distinguished journals as New England Journal of Medicine, Journal of the American Medical Association, Resuscitation, and others. We actually have a paper that's coming out shortly on pad placement, optimal pad placement to achieve the best survival rate. So we do that through that. We do it through applying the latest technology. We have the glide scopes, which to intubate a patient, to put a tube down so that they can breathe. There's a little fiber optic camera on the end of it. It cuts out the old way of doing it, which is kind of by feel and maybe sometimes a flashlight in the dark. So that's sort of cutting edge technology. We have CPR feedback that comes off the defibrillator machines. We're installing the new First Watch public health surveillance system, which is going to monitor all of the charts coming off of the patients from the medics and pull that information into our quality improvement, which really all kind of gets pulled into the high-performance CPR system, which is what the people in the picture on the slide are doing there. Everyone knows their place, and everyone can kind of plug into it like a jigsaw puzzle. Very, very important. We're bringing out clinical system metrics. I believe it's a very innovative first in the nation policy where we not only measure time to destination of the ambulance, but we measure what goes on at the scene as well to try and get the best performance and the best care we have. And finally, top it all off and ensure that the relationships are there. We have multi-agency training at least once or twice a year where all the crews come together and work towards the common goal of saving as many lives as they possibly can in the community. So thank you for your time. I'll pass it back.
So I'm going to focus on earlier in the timeline and look at our community responders. Again, Washington County has a pretty impressive differing from the national standard. Nationally, about 40% of cardiac arrests in the community are responded to by a citizen responder doing CPR based on the call help from WACA. Well, for us, it's WACA. Here, it's 76% of calls have a bystander helping to respond, which is an impressive difference. And this is because our system is built in a way that we've really prioritized having people helped to do that response. So it starts with the medical directors and with our with WACA having that buy-in to have the dispatchers be able to be trained and walk people through doing compressions only or CPR while they're there with the person experiencing the worst day of their life. Then we have our people in the community willing to do that who are trained, and then it loops back around to look at the data, see what we need to be teaching, and continue on. Part of that is making it accessible to people in the community. So you may all know that our existing community offerings are things like American Red Cross or the American Heart Association. The EMS program has a small training program as well. Historically, these are almost all taught in English. There's very few other languages offered up for these trainings. And even the English are still a little limited post-pandemic. They're speeding up, but they're still just catching back up. So we asked ourselves, how do we increase these offerings in the community? And how do we increase them in other languages? Because not everyone's going to learn well in English. And so having it in native language is also really important. We started a project a couple years ago to look at how do we increase overall knowledge of emergency preparedness. This part of the project was really focused on CPR and first aid. And so we partnered with community-based organizations, including Centro, Virginia Garcia, and Carollo in the community, to get them the capacity to do these trainings. We trained 1 to 4 instructors in each of those organizations. We helped them build their own training center, which helps with the longevity of that capability. And then we also purchased the equipment that they would need to offer community trainings to the full capacity of the number of trainers that they have. And then we also offered, in addition to CPR and first aid, Stop the Bleed, Train the Trainer, that one of them also took up on and will offer again. That allows them to also teach that fairly short but life-saving curriculum as well. This project is ending in May with the community trainings as kind of the final piece of that project, and they are out and doing that. I don't think as we speak, but it's possible. And so the picture here was actually a joint effort where Centro and VG got together and did a CPR training for the Rio Verde nursery. And so in Spanish, the way that community would best learn, which is super exciting to have the double partnership there as well. And then we're looking now to how do we continue this effort? We're looking for the funding opportunities to expand the project to more CBOs. We're also looking for the ability to fund the existing community-based organizations so they can do these classes at no charge. So now that we've focused on heart, I do want to just say a hearty thank you, to all the EMS folks, and pass over the microphone to Chief Downey to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm Dave Downey, Fire Chief for Hillsboro. I'm the current chair of the Washington County EMS Alliance. It's my pleasure to read today's proclamation. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service and the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, collectively engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this 16th day of May 2023, the Washington County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 21st through May 27th as Emergency Medical Services Week in Washington County, and encourages the community to celebrate the EMS strong theme of where emergency care begins and show appreciation to our EMS first responders.
Thank you.
Chief Downing. If I could, before turning to my colleagues for comments, on the third slide, you listed the medical directors, and we don't often get to hear about the medical directors, and I'm not sure if they have some affiliation, so I'm just wondering if you could bring that to life for me.
Absolutely. Dr. Sani and Dr. Boer-Clancy are medical directors for Washington County EMS, and then Dr. Daya is the medical director for, well, the easiest way to say it is all the fire agencies and WACA except for Hillsboro, who works with Drs. Boer-Clancy and Dr. Sani. So together, all three of them partner quite well and cover the entire EMS system.
Wow, I had no idea that the EMS system had medical directors like that behind it.
Yeah.
Wow, quite a network. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any comments or motion to adopt?
I'm glad you do what you do, thanks.
Yeah.
I've only ridden with you once.
Oh, that's a
That was
good
enough.
thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same. Thank you for what you do, and thanks for bringing this. And the next proclamation that follows is in alignment with all this. And Chief, it's my first time meeting you in person, but I recognized you from all the Zoom meetings in person. Usually in person and online doesn't usually. So I recognized you. Good to see you.
You too. It's nice to be back in person.
I'd like to also say thank you. And I also want to thank you for reflecting the community and how the community has been a part of our really high success rate. And that's an interesting trust relationship between the community and our emergency response team. So I think that's just marvelous. So thank you very much for not only the work that you do with the individuals who are experiencing the worst day of their lives, but also the community members that are helping to participate as well.
So what are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor of adopting this proclamation, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. And do we have a picture taking?
Absolutely.
Great.
And I'd like to welcome my other EMS team up too. They're critical in this process.
Yes, thank you. We never learn, so we always have to be encouraged to. We're glad you figured it out. Do the library book thing, get on the shelf. We gotta get acquainted.
Roy is lagging behind. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. It's me. Mine just has one because I'm not technology savvy. Good job, Kevin.
Well, we're very proud of every employee, but also everyone here in our community for coming together and making Washington County great. And we have another proclamation opportunity to prove that point, proclaiming May 2023 as Active People, Healthy Nation Month in Washington County. And I'd like to turn the mic over to Commissioner Nafisa Faye.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. Proclamation, Board of Commissioners for Washington County, a proclamation in support of the CDC's Active People, Healthy Nation initiatives. Whereas the Whereas the physical activity guidelines for Americans recommended that children ages 6 to 17 years to do 60 minutes or more of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity each day, and adults ages 18 years and older to do at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity, such as brisk walking or cycling. And whereas only half of adults and 1/4 of youth get the recommended amount of aerobic physical activity they need to help reduce and prevent chronic diseases. And whereas physically active people generally live longer and are at less risk for serious health problems like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and some cancers. And for people with chronic diseases, physical activity can help manage these conditions and complications. And whereas the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, is leading Active People, Healthy Nations, a national initiative to help 27 million Americans become more physically active by 2027. And whereas in our role as the local public health authority for Washington County, with a population of 600,000, oh my goodness, I'm getting my numbers mixed. Whereas in our role as the local public health authority for Washington County, with a population of 600,372, where 215,000 of those living in urban neighborhoods outside of cities, we recognize the importance of providing access to safe, convenient places to be physically active for people regardless of age, race, income, socioeconomic status, disability status, and geographic location. And whereas Washington County Public Health works in partnership with our community to improve and protect the public's health and achieve health equity through prevention, regulation, and education. And whereas building active and walkable communities can help improve traffic safety, increase level of retail economic activity and empowerment, increase property values, support neighborhood revitalization, and reduce healthcare costs. And whereas we acknowledge that the midst of the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic and the county's continuing struggle to seek justice for Black lives, that reducing barriers in access to safe and equitable public spaces for people of color to be physically active is important to addressing existing health disparities. And now therefore be it resolved that Washington County Board of Commissioners is committed to supporting a thriving, vibrant, healthy community for residents of all ages and disabilities. And be it further resolved that on the 16th day of May 2023, the Washington County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Active People, Healthy Nation Month in Washington County.
Are there any commissioner comments or recommendations?
I'd like to make a comment. Commissioner Fye, thank you for bringing this forward. It's really important. There's one little correction I'd like to make, and that is in the last whereas, where it says, and the country is continuing struggle to seek justice for Black lives. I think you read counties, and I just want to make sure that this is perceived as a very broad issue.
Oh, thank you.
But nice job.
Yeah, thank you. We'll make that correction.
Well, it's correct here.
It's actually in the proclamation. You just are.
I said it counties instead of country.
Yeah, but thank you.
Thank you.
Most importantly, thank you for bringing this forward.
What are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve.
All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? So approved. All righty. Moving on then to board and commissions. Our next item is to appoint members of the Fair Board. We have a proposal today to appoint Troy Cabellos to the Fair Board for a 3-year term ending May of 2026. What are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I just want to add that we reviewed the applications at our work session on April 25th, 2023, and if you're interested in any of that, please do go back and watch our recording of that. Otherwise, all those in favor of this appointment, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Next, we have appointments to the Fairgrounds Development Advisory Committee. We have an action before us to appoint Bill Ganger and Nancy Thomas, really to reappoint them, to the Fairgrounds Advisory Committee for 3-year terms ending May of 2026. What are the wishes of the commission?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. Now we're on to our action items of the day. And the first one is with regard to clean water services. And I'd like to invite Damon up to fill us in on this proposal before us today. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Andy Braun.
All good.
I'm embarrassed.
You're good.
And Madam Chair, this is the public hearing, not the action.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I jumped right over public hearings to action already. We'll get to that in a moment. Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Clerk Moss.
Good morning, Chair Harrington and members of the board. My name is Andy Braun, Systems Planning Division Manager for Clean Water Services. This morning's first public hearing is to receive and consider testimony prior to setting the final reimbursement charges for the Northwest Cornell at 107th Avenue Sanitary Sewer Reimbursement District. The project on Cornell Road between 107th Avenue and 113th Avenue within the Cedar Mill Community Plan was initiated by Clean Water Services to provide public sanitary sewers to 15 unserved properties in conjunction with the Washington County Cornell Road Improvement Project. On March 16, 2021, the board formed the reimbursement district and set estimated reimbursement charges based upon the project estimated cost. Clean Water Services construction crews completed Phase 1 off-site work in November 2021 at a cost of $337,457. Clean Water Services absorbs this part of the cost in order to make connection to the existing sewer system. Phase 2 work in Cornell Road was bid with the county roadway project. On January 4th, 2022, the board awarded construction of the road and sewer work to Pacific Excavation. The period between establishment of the estimated costs and the bid opening saw heightened inflation in construction prices. The low bid for the sewer work was more than $270,000, or approximately 30% over the cost estimate. Staff negotiated an alternative construction methodology, saving approximately $60,000. Construction of the sewer was completed in July 2022 at a cost of $769,496. Construction, survey work, permitting, engineering, and administrative costs resulted in a Phase 2 total cost of $949,990. $150,000 of that was deemed extraordinary cost, leaving the balance of $799,990 to the 15 benefiting properties. This owner responsibility is 9.8% higher than the original estimate. A modified front foot cost distribution methodology acknowledges that the lots vary significantly in size, shape, and potential for densification. 7 lots having less than 100 feet frontage on Cornell Road are responsible for their full reimbursement charge upon connection. Many larger lots have the ability to densify. The reimbursement charge methodology enables larger lots to pay the equivalent of 100 feet of frontage upon connection of their existing home and postpone payment of the balance until a future connection is made. One flagpole-shaped lot with only 10 feet of frontage will be responsible for the equivalent of 50 feet of frontage to recognize and achieve proportionality. Reimbursement District Ordinance 43 provides a financial incentive to owners connecting to the sewer within 1 year of sewer availability. If all owners connected and paid their full reimbursement charge, CWS would waive a total of $144,889 of internal engineering and administrative costs. These early connection incentives are 22% higher than originally estimated. Additionally, CWS offers financing of private plumbing costs for owners connecting within the 1 year incentive period. There is no time requirement for an owner to connect to the sewer, but unpaid reimbursement charges will accrue interest at 0.92% annually. Owners may enter into an agreement with Clean Water Services to finance their reimbursement charge over 10 years at 2.92% annual interest. Subsequent to completion of construction and establishment of the sewer availability date, Clean Water Services and Washington County received a federal American Rescue Plan Act grant through the Department of Environmental Quality to assist income-eligible owners with septic system repair and conversion to public sewer. The details of the grant program are being finalized this week. In order to enable owners to pursue grant eligibility, make an informed decision among the grant, incentive, and financing packages available, and have the work completed, staff recommends extending the early connection incentive period for this project by 1 year to July 21st, 2024. Staff recommends that following consideration of any testimony, the board close the public hearing and direct staff to modify the resolution and order by extending the early connection incentive and private plumbing financing deadlines by 1 year to July 21st, 2024. The board would then vote on adoption of the final reimbursement charge resolution and order at a meeting next month. This concludes the staff report for the Reimbursement District public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Braun, and I would just ask for our Clean Water Services experts to please work with Clerk Moss to update the packet after the meeting so it's clear for the members of the public what we're choosing to do today. So to ensure my colleagues are up to speed, as Mr. Braun talked about, we will be holding the public hearing on the establishment of the reimbursement charges, but as noted, the resolution and order will be coming back to us in June for us to adopt in order for that program for the early connection period to be available through July 1st of next year, 2024. Are we all clear on that? Mm-hmm. Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. So before we open the public hearing, are there any questions or comments from commissioners?
My only, pardon me, my only comment is that I think it's a creative way to handle this particular situation. And I applaud the extension. I applaud what we're doing, and I'm very supportive.
Thank you.
All righty, seeing nothing else, I'd like to open a public hearing. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to speak to us on this matter?
I did not see anyone sign up in the back. Would any members viewing this meeting in the auditorium wish to provide public comment for up to 2 minutes on this public hearing from Clean Water Service? Give you just a moment to raise your hand or start coming forward. Not seeing the room. We do have one member online, so we'll go with you. Kim Nguyen. Kim, can you hear us? Can you unmute, Kim? There you are. We can hear you. Please go ahead for up to 2 minutes.
Yes, let me pull over. Sorry, I'm on the road. So I am the owner of a piece of undeveloped land that's on the list under WEN. I've been owning it for almost 8 years. And I just heard from, I forgot whose name was he just said something about intensive because I am going to do the development for a nonprofit for children with special needs. So I'm looking for if any intensive, any help from the Washington County that can benefit to that nonprofit organization to contribute back to the public.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. I have asked Mr. Braun to come back up to the testimony table to speak to the current outreach that has occurred with property owners such as yourself and the next steps moving forward. Mr. Braun.
Okay, so my understanding of our speaker's request is that she be given additional consideration for development of a nonprofit development on a currently vacant site. That would be something that the board could consider. We do not have anything in our existing reimbursement district ordinance which provides those.
Yes, thank you. I was hoping you would speak to briefly the engagement that the agency has had with all of the property owners in this area, and to whom they should contact for any other questions or comments that they have.
Sure. Yes, there has been outreach both through email contacts. We have a webpage project for the site. We've provided them with mailings and given them both an email address as well as phone numbers to contact us. That information has been sent to them in their packets, and they're welcome to call us to pursue those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Braun. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone else?
Would anyone else like to provide public comment on this public hearing for up to 2 minutes? Give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any additional hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And with that, we'll close today's public hearing. And as mentioned, we will come back to this item at an upcoming June meeting. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our second public hearing of today's agenda. And this is with regard to adopting the findings and a grant exception from the competitive bid process for some very critical facilities projects. So I'd like to recognize Bassam Khalifa and Stuart Spafford, both valued employees from our Facilities and Park Services Capital Improvement Group. And before you start, gentlemen, I would also like to say thank you very much for maintaining not only these facilities, but all facilities across our asset pool to ensure that employees, those who are occupying our buildings, members of our community are safe each and every day. And I appreciate your diligence in doing all of that and in helping us understand on this board that despite of all that great maintenance over the years, some systems have reached their end of life and are in need of absolute critical replacement. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good morning, Chair Harrington and members of the board. My name, for the record, is Bassam Khalifa. I'm the Senior Capital Improvements Project Manager, and along with me, Stuart Spafford. We are here to present to you a quick PowerPoint presentation, and it is to conduct public hearing, adopt finding, and grant exemption from the competitive bid process for the Law Enforcement Center, critical infrastructure projects, and approve the use of alternative competitive process. So just give you a quick overview of the building. The Law Enforcement Center is a mission-critical 24/7 facility completed in 1997. Existing equipment systems have exceeded expected life expectancy. Sazan Group, the consultant, have been working with us, and we contracted with them in 2021 to provide design services for replacement of the HVAC and control system. Critical infrastructure projects were identified and presented to the board April 2023. Like any other project or any project we do in facilities, there are always challenges and risks. And we do a pretty good job managing those challenges and risks. And this project will probably have the most we've probably ever done. And just to name a few, the challenges and risks that we'll be facing on this project, that's why we're asking to go through with this process. Maintain security is a primary importance. Existing building system must remain operation 24/7 during construction. It's a jail. Complex phasing of work is critical to maintain to minimize impact to operation. We cannot shut the jail down. It has to continue to operate while we're doing this project. Detailed coordination, scheduling, and planning with the sheriff office staff to maintain operations and keep construction moving. And just want to add one little bit here. The sheriff office have been amazing in working with us on many, many projects we have done with them over the years. So we're glad to do it for them. And there will be limited site access for construction. So I want to turn it to Stewart, who will be the project manager on this project, to continue with this presentation.
Thanks, Bassam. I'm Stuart Spafford, project manager. Good morning, Chair Harrington and commissioners. I wanted to go through the CMGC process and just explain that a little bit. But before that, project goals. We are looking to replace obsolete and unreliable systems to better serve the critical mission of the facility and provide more reliable, safer, healthier environment. The components of the project are the HVAC system and controls, the domestic water supply lines, the fire detection system, the restoration of the showers in the prison, and roof replacement. During the project, we are looking to increase the energy efficiency of the new equipment and provide better air infiltration systems. Selecting general contractors, we primarily use a design bid build, a traditional process, or the construction manager general contractor CMGC process. Today, we're here to recommend to you that a CMGC process for this project makes the most sense. The benefits of the CMGC process, you have one contractor that oversees all of the projects. They bring construction, or we're bringing the contractor into the design phase before construction starts, which helps them vet things that we're doing and provide cost savings. The way they can save money on the process is to input on the methods that offer the most value. They can come up with true construction costs before construction starts, so we know exactly how much things are going to cost, and they can identify cost-saving options during design. Using this process usually ends up shortening the construction schedule, and along the line, we have fewer change orders during construction and the ability to order long lead items to not stop construction. The RFP and selection process, the CMGC would be chosen using a competitive RFP process. The CMGC would be selected based on their qualifications, experience with the project type, experience with the CMGC role, and the company's commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion through demonstrated hiring practices, apprenticeship programs, policies, and contracted partnerships with co-bid companies. They would also be, it's also based on their availability to do the project in the time frame that we're setting forth. So the staff recommendation today is to authorize the use of an RFP to ensure that the selected contractor has the expertise to complete the project, exempt the contract from the bidding requirements under the county's purchasing rule 40-020, and to allow the public comment on the exemption as required and in accordance with the county's purchasing rules and state laws. So our requested action is for the board to adopt the findings and grant exemption from the competitive bid process for the Law Enforcement Center Critical Infrastructure Project and to approve the use of an alternate contracting process.
Before we move to the public hearing, are there any commissioner questions or comments at this point? Go ahead, Commissioner Treese.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for your outstanding work here. I also want to say, I just want to emphasize the fact that exemption from the competitive bid process does not mean exemption from meeting our equity standards, and you call that out in the presentation. I appreciate that, so I just wanted to underscore that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say I support what the process we're going through too. And I liken this a little bit, Chair, to your favorite topic, which is the earthquake that is coming. This is a little bit, is not if, it's when. And so the faster we move ahead on this, the better. So this is a good process. Thank you.
Just for clarification, we're not exempting it from the competitive process. It's just a bidding process. You're still going to seek a number of proposals, I presume, and get them. And is there any impediments in your mind to getting a number of different quotes?
Could you repeat again?
Is there any impediments in your mind at all about getting various competitive quotes? Or is it going to be written broadly enough that you will have a number of companies who might quote you on this process?
We will issue through our procurement department or division the RFP, and we'll publicize it through the different publications throughout the United States, actually. So I have no doubt that we'll be getting very competitive and people will be going after this project. Once we select the successful contractor or successful CMGC, which is construction manager, general contractor, they will go and start bidding all the sub work. There will be plenty of it to all the contracting community. So,
Thank you. That clarifies. What are you anticipating the total cost of this might be?
right now, there are a bunch of projects, and within one project, there's the roof, there is the HVAC system, there is the controls, there's a bunch of things intermingled with this one big project.
And a roof.
So I don't have exact estimate, and that's what we'll be refining. It's in the draft.
Capital improvement plan that we have with our budget.
Thank you. I saw that, but I wanted to make certain that you're bidding all components, so I don't know what body of work you're doing, but I suspect it's everything you mentioned.
Commissioner.
Yeah, we will be bidding all the components.
Yeah. Our facilities team has been provided with the direction to move forward with the process to complete the full critical capital facilities. So that is, I will call it the 48 million that the board has reviewed multiple times.
Anything else, commissioners?
Thank you, Possam and Stewart. Great presentation. I'm just trying to figure out the difference between what you're asking, the exemption, and then the process, the RFP you're going to pursue. Does it take too long? Is the reason why you're asking the exemption?
It's under.
I could step in. So ordinarily, we put projects out for contract bids, and for our procurement rules, they're low bid. This is a very complex project, as we have also had other complex projects. And so state law allows for what is called a construction manager general contractor project, so that you can engage earlier and get the level of design expertise in. So it may not be, in the end, the lowest price, even though the other parts are subcontracted, but you're able to minimize cost impacts through the complexity of the project management. So as the presentation has talked about, that this stage on the third to the last slide talks about a competitive request for proposals to secure the CMGC, and then enabling the CMGC to be part of our project team to then sort through what are the particular contracts for each of the 5 pieces enumerated under the project goals. So that's the process that we've been through with multiple programs here the last 2-3+ years.
Just want to add one more thing. When the state allowed this process to happen, we were the first to do it. That's how we built the current complex we started in 1994. I was there, and I'm still here. And we went through the process, and it was extremely successful.
I just want to make sure that the same kind of design simplifications that have complicated the maintenance and the life of the facility are avoided as best as possible, though I certainly appreciate that this is quite a puzzle that you're all having to deal with in doing this replacement on a 25-year-old existing building that needs to stay in operation at the same time. So,
hopefully we'll still have some hair left when
yes,
we're done with
yes.
the project.
So is everyone clear on the process that we're going through today? Seeing none, I would like to move forward then and open a public hearing. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to engage with us?
We had no one sign up in the room. Would anyone that I may have missed like to provide comment for up to 2 minutes on this public hearing on this exemption? Not seeing anyone come forward. Would any member of the public viewing this meeting via Zoom like to provide public comment on this public hearing of what you've heard of the presentation? Give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. And with that, I would like to close today's public hearing and ask the Commission for a motion to adopt the findings and grant the exemption from the competitive bid process for the Law Enforcement Center and Jail HVAC, controls, and roof replacement projects, and approve the use of an alternative competitive contracting process.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. And that concludes our public hearings of the day. Congratulations, and we all wish you luck and appreciate your great care as you move forward with these complicated projects.
Thank you so much.
Next, we'll move on to our single action item, and this is an exciting one for us today because it's recognizing the partnership that we have had for 25 years with the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District here in Washington County. So we have a few different speakers with us here today as we work to authorize funding for the cooperative agriculture programs and expenses through an intergovernmental agreement. So it sounds very governmentese, but there's a really exciting program and partnership in place for all this great work. So I'd like to turn it over to our speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. Good morning to you and the members of the board. My name is Rich Hunter, and I'm the Division Manager for Natural Systems Enhancement and Stewardship Department at Clean Water Services. I'm so pleased to introduce and express my gratitude for Lacey Townsend, the Executive Director of the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District, as well as Aaron Shaw, the Director of Natural Resources for the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District. Collectively, Lacey, Aaron, and I have worked together with our teams on this program for more than 15 years. And we're here to give you a real brief overview of the partnership called Cooperative Agricultural Programs. We had the chance to visit with the Clean Water Advisory Commission on March 8th and give them an extended background and briefing on this program. So to refresh your memory, you can see the group photo here from April 7th, 2022, where we were fortunate to have the combined boards of both Clean Water Services and the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District get together and explore out on the ground at a blueberry farm that's enrolled in our stream enhancement program. As you learned last year, this is a really unique partnership, a one-of-a-kind, homegrown Washington County community solution to a challenging environmental problem. At a high level, the primary driver for this is clean water, and in particular, Clean Water Act compliance for clean water services, water resource recovery facilities, with the temperature requirements imposed by the Department of Environmental Quality. It's an excellent example of governments working together across local, state, and federal agencies in partnership with private landowners to cooperatively work on solving challenging environmental problems. This partnership allows for an efficient pairing of funding sources that are available for conservation. And by planting trees instead of running chillers at the treatment plants, we've avoided expensive, energy-intensive treatment options. So this allows for an investment by urban ratepayers into the agricultural lands of the county to promote an overall healthy watershed and clean water for all. So the way the riparian planting program works, for planting trees and shrubs along streams and wetlands in the Tualatin River watershed, Clean Water Services receives an offset called shade credit, which quantifies the reduction of thermal energy input to the streams that results from the riparian forest shade created by the plantings. This credit is an offset for excess heat input to the river by the water resource recovery facilities' effluent streams. By working with our partners, the program packages more options for conservation and offers broader benefits such as irrigation efficiency, water rights leasing, and other farm practices, as well as invasive species management, improved soil health, and habitat for wildlife and pollinators. Clean Water Services' partnership-based approach to water quality trading is represented by the Tree for All program, where Clean Water Services convenes diverse groups of community organizations, jurisdictions, and others to plant trees and shrubs all across the Tualatin River watershed. And I'm pleased to say the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District has been there from the beginning as one of the leading partners. And now I'll turn it over to Lacey and Aaron to tell you more about their incredible program.
Good morning. So just a quick overview of the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District. We are a special district and we serve all residents in Washington County. Our mission is on the slide there. We provide technical assistance, financial assistance, and education to create a sustainable, productive, and healthy environment for the Washington County community. One important thing to know, we are non-regulatory and local, we're connectors, and we do serve everyone in the county. We have 6 main program areas at the district. We have an urban conservation program, forest conservation, rural conservation, habitat, invasive species, and conservation education. Within our habitat program, we have our stream enhancement program, where we offer incentives to establish native trees and shrubs along streams to maintain clean water and healthy soil for humans and wildlife. And it is within this program where we've been working, partnering with Clean Water Services since 2005 to plant trees in the rural areas of Washington County. I'll turn it over to Aaron now to talk more about the details of that program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Our stream enhancement programs have been in place within this partnership since 2005, as Lacey mentioned. And part of what the Conservation District does on a daily basis is to engage residents and community members, providing a variety of opportunities to put these conservation practices and these projects on the ground, in addition to engaging them in an understanding of the importance of these habitats and the water quality benefits of these projects. And we provide a great deal of technical assistance in addition to project opportunities and education opportunities for residents that either engage in projects with us or are just interested in the conservation opportunities that these projects provide. We have 2 distinct programs that we offer financial assistance and project assistance through. That's the Enhanced Conservation and Reserve Enhancement Program, which is a partnership also with Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, and USDA Farm Service Agency, in addition to Clean Water Services, and then a local option, which is the Vegetative Buffer Areas for Conservation, or VEGBAC. Both work the same way in providing financial assistance for these projects and also technical assistance in the form of project management. Since the program inception, we have worked with a variety of residents throughout the community, and we put in countless hours trying to bring residents to the table to participate in these programs. Since inception, we are now over 1,000 acres in conservation projects that we manage, and these projects extend anywhere from 10 to 30 years. So that both ensures the success of the projects that we're putting on the ground and also cements the relationships that we have with participants and the community residents. This is a really robust partnership, so costs for the projects are shared amongst the different federal agencies, NRCS and Farm Service Agency, as well as Clean Water Services and the Conservation District. I'm pleased to say that a large part of the incentives and the funding that we do have go to conservation efforts on the ground. Over 50%, or more than that actually, 75% are going on the ground in the form of contracted services, and that includes all of the site preparation, planting, maintenance, engaging with contract crews, purchasing plants and project materials, and the project management of the sites. And this is just a quick slide showing before and after. This is a typical project that we engage in rural Washington County on a stream that was otherwise not shaded, not providing much in the form of conservation related to habitat. And an after photo showing the project after planting. We have adequate shade developed. We've created this important riparian habitat. And this is the trajectory of many of our projects. As I mentioned before, we have over 1,000 acres already enrolled in this program, and that on average brings us to around 100 individual farms that are enrolled in our programs, 50 stream miles enhanced, and over 3.2 million plants installed over the last 18 years. And we're continuing our efforts to provide education and outreach and to continue to enroll private landowners and residents in these programs.
And those are just some of the highlights there of everything we've accomplished in the last 18 years. As Lacey and Aaron mentioned, one of the key services they provide is engaging with people on the ground who are managing lands and managing working lands and running farms and helping them run their businesses in a way that is environmentally responsible and takes care of the watershed. That's really invaluable, a value that they provide for the community and for Clean Water Services. Those stream miles enhanced and acres add up to thousands of pounds of sediment, nutrients and phosphorus avoided going into the river, hundreds of thousands of metric tons of carbon sequestered, and a really high quality habitat for connectivity throughout the watershed.
I'll just add that the numbers up there represent small tangible complements for the Conservation District that, if expanded out to the intangibles, which are countless hours, thousands of hours of community engagement, as Rich mentioned. Not everything we do results in projects on the ground, but we are out there engaging with the community and educating on the importance of these types of projects, as well as other conservation benefits that these farms and these forested areas provide throughout the watershed.
And thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments?
Great program. I really like that. I like that, as you pointed out, it's better than chillers. And certainly I appreciate the Tree for All program and the folks that are engaged with that and their help on the Salmonberry Trail as well, because we get out there and clear trail, and it's always good to have that support, so thank you for that.
And I appreciate the cooperation. That's that's the key to this. And I know that our hearts and minds and missions are all in the same place, and that's what makes this work. So thank you.
Just for my intellectual curiosity, are you doing any drone planting?
Drone planting or drone monitoring?
Planting.
Planting. No, we are not.
I saw a great video of planting with drones, and it's much faster and much more, I can show it to you. It's very clever. Anyway, I'm just curious.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we met with a company who was using that technology and tested it at the Tualatin River Farm and found that for the scale of the applications that we're doing, it wasn't really feasible, but maybe in the future it would be a way to expand. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, yes, go ahead, Diane.
I just wanted to clarify some of the dates. So it's a celebration that the program was first created and signed in May of 2004. So in 2024, it will be our 20th anniversary. And this new IGA signing will take us to 25 years of working together. And this team is amazing. They've been working together, as Rich said, 15 years on this program. So it is a wonderful program, and thank you to the team at Soil and Water Conservation District. We really appreciate it.
And just for the benefit of our viewers, that was Ms. Diane Taniguchi-Dennis, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Clean Water Services, which Rich Hunter is part of. So I just want to share that Oregon is vast and has incredible habitats. We have all kinds of different lands, including here in Washington County. And it's very easy. I know personally the hustle and bustle of a day, living most of my life in our urban environment. I sometimes feel blessed through my bicycling and otherwise, but also, especially as an elected official, getting to appreciate the fact that 80% of the acreage that makes up Washington County is rural acreage. And that includes farmlands as well as forest lands, as well as some areas of rural residential. I've also had the benefit, I did not know what soil and water conservation districts were until I moved here to Washington County, and I am thrilled that the voters of Washington County provided for property tax assessment raising for our soil and water conservation district, because the work that you do does in fact help our urban community as well as helping those who are stewards of the land in our rural community. I've learned so much from you and greatly appreciate the level of engagement that you have with all programs. It doesn't matter what your age is. The Soil and Water Conservation District has programs to help each of us learn and to contribute so that we feel part of a larger whole. Because after all, our lives are connected, whether we realize it or not. You also have incredible expertise. This is the value of people to people and making these grant opportunities such as you spoke about. I finally know what ECREP stands for and VegBack, thank you. But you make those programs less intimidating for the people who own the lands and work the lands. Because after all, these are funding opportunities that come with commitments, and you help ensure that folks have the opportunity to understand that no, it really does offer a lot, and you're there to help folks. realize that opportunity. So thank you for what you do. I know it is not easy work, but it is certainly work that lasts lifetimes, and I appreciate that. As your picture showed, with all of the vegetation that serves not only to shade the Tualatin River, but also helps with an incredible array of species that humankind is reliant upon. So here we are for the specifics of adopting a new intergovernmental agreement. So at this juncture, I would like to ask the Commission for a motion to authorize the funding for the Cooperative Agricultural Programs or program expenses under the Intergovernmental Agreement, IGA, dated July 14th, 2020 with the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District, TSWCD, for fiscal years 2023 through 24 through the end of the period 2027-2028 fiscal year in an amount not to exceed $12 million. What are the wishes of the Commission?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adopting today's action, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously, 5-0. And I would like to invite my colleagues and our guests and our leadership to join us to commemorate this occasion through a photograph. Thank you.
And we are joined by two of our board of directors. That will join us. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the presentation.
Good.
Jerry, Chair Ward.
I'm sorry I didn't introduce you.
You gotta get up here. We wanna get right there. You're gonna show lots.
I'm gonna move over.
So I have an opportunity to somewhat be on the journey of Oh, cool.
How are we looking now, Kevin? We're looking pretty good there. All right.
The book, the library book thing on the bookshelf.
All right. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Oh, that's terrific. Global scale through all water being recycled, but also through the work of other governments. So,
Great, thank you so much.
Yes, take care.
You want to grab some? We'll be fast.
No, don't worry. I'm just teasing you. I want to thank the two board members from the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District who joined us today. They were in our audience. So, and thank you to our community for waiting for us as we memorialize the occasion through photographs. So, and that brings us to our second public comment period of today's meeting. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to engage with us?
I did not see anyone sign up in the back. Would anyone in the auditorium here like to provide comment for up to 5 minutes on any county-related topic? Give you just a moment to raise your hand or come forward. Not seeing anyone in the room. Would any members viewing this meeting online via Zoom like to provide public comment for up to 5 minutes on any county-related topic? Give you just a moment to utilize the raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. And onward to board announcements. I would like to ensure that everyone has the opportunity of knowing that Thursday night, May 18th, we're going to have another one of our Washington County Service District for Lighting Budget Committee meetings, as well as the North Bethany Service District for Roads Budget Committee. That'll start first, and then we'll go to the former. That meeting starts at 5:30. It's right here in the Public Services Building. Do feel free to join us. They're also broadcast meetings, so please be on the journey of this fine work. Next Tuesday, May 23rd, there will be a work session starting in the afternoon and a board meeting at 6:30, and Vice Chair Rogers will be chairing those meetings as I will be excused. Wednesday, May 31st, we have our budget public hearings. This is part of our process. So we will have 4 different public hearings on the evening of May 31st, starting at 5:30. And we have some time certain for the different budgets so that, or 3, excuse me, so that you can provide your public comment before the budget committees adopt said budgets. First, this is once again Wednesday, May 31st, starting at 5:30 p.m., the North Bethany Service District for Roads Budget Committee. Following at 6:30 p.m., the Washington County Urban Road Maintenance District. Then at 7:30 p.m., the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District Budget Committee meeting. The following day, Thursday, June 1st, the board roundtable we have a change of time. That will be starting at 2 in the afternoon. Then that evening, starting at 5:30, we will have the Washington County Service District for Lighting #1 Budget Committee meeting, which will have the public hearing and perhaps adoption. No, not adoption, approval. That's the right step, because adoption comes later. I'll speak to that in a moment. Oh my goodness, we're into the month of June so quickly. So moving from Thursday, June 1st to the following Tuesday, June 6th, that meeting is now postponed as we have 3 commission members who are traveling, so there wouldn't be a quorum. The following Tuesday, June 13th, we are going to have our work session starting at 9, then pause that. Our board meeting will convene at 10 a.m., just like today, and then we'll reconvene our work session at 1 p.m. On Tuesday, June 20th, here's where budget adoption comes in. But first, we'll start the work session at 9 a.m. that morning, Housing Authority Board of Directors at 10, then this board meeting will start immediately after the Housing Authority Board of Directors meeting, which our staff estimates will be 11 o'clock. At our board meetings, that's where we'll be having the public hearings with just the Board of Commissioners on our multiple budgets, and then we will move to adopt the next fiscal year budgets. Then wrapping up the month of June, On Tuesday, June 27th, we'll have our work session starting at 2 p.m. and then our evening board meeting at 6:30 p.m. That's it for the month of June. I hope it doesn't go by as quickly as those meeting announcements went. Commissioners, do you have any other board announcements for today? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
So move.
All those in favor of adjourning today's meeting, please vote by raising your hand. Thank you, Commissioners. Anyone opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. The meeting is hereby adjourned for Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. Thank you.